So in this part of learning module number 7, we're just going to briefly go over the statement of functional expenses, and then we'll take a look at reading them line by line in a different part of the learning module. So the goal of this financial report, or its job, is to focus on expenses and to show where and how the organization spent its money. As we talked about, I think, in the discussion board, right now this statement is only required of social service and welfare organizations, human welfare organizations, and health. But in 2018, those rules are changing. Now, that being said, most organizations, when they publish financial reports, will do a statement of functional expenses. It's very rare that you see someone who has an audit who doesn't have a statement of functional expenses performed. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So how does this report look? Basically, the first way that it's divided is into program services, so what I do that feeds the mission, and then supporting services. So a little bit more detail about that. Our supporting services, which can be loosely defined as things that I do that support my overall mission but aren't necessarily directly my mission, that's divided into administrative costs and fundraising costs. So fundraising, of course, has to be pulled out. We're going to pull it out on our 990, which is our tax returns as well. Administration costs, we're going to put in, management costs, general costs, things that, going back a few learning modules, are going to be more of our indirect expenses. They're going to be pulled out into the administrative costs. Our program services are going to show on this report how much I spent on program and exactly where I spent it. There is a difference in terms of, there's no set standard in terms of how many categories you have to have. In terms of, program services, you're certainly going to have salaries, you're certainly going to have contractors, because those are always important to pull out. And then you're going to pull out key things for your organization. Program supplies, program services, travel if it's important, utilities, do you have any special buildings that are used exclusively for programs, that sort of thing when you're looking at program services. So that's kind of the overview really quickly. Now you can pull out the sample statement of functional expenses in the learning module, and we'll go over it a little bit more in depth.